Hello everybody, welcome back to Creating Hanley. My name is Kimberly at Creating Hanley, and in today's episode, I'm going to show you how to make this 2.5-inch hourglass block. So all you need is two colors, contrasting or coordinating colors, but you want to have them different in some way. You could even have the same color, just maybe different tones or shades. Okay, so this is a 2.5-inch block, and I will prove that to you by this little 2.5-inch measuring tool right here. 2.5-inch block, that measures up equally. Now I know I have blue tape on here. I can show you one without blue tape. 2.5-inch. Here's the 1-inch block, or the 1-inch mark. 2.5 by 2.5. We got it. All right, so in order to make this little guy, we need two of these bigger guys. Okay, so here's my two pieces of fabric. I have a white on white. This is Snowflake, so you can see the Snowflake white on white. And then this is just some kind of Christmassy print here in the United States. This is January at the moment. But this is the fabric I have. Now, on the back of this white one, I drew a line from corner to corner. Just one line from corner to corner. And what you're going to do... Oh, I should tell you the measurements first. 3.5 inches. So both of these are 3.5 inches. So measure that up right at the 1-inch mark. At the the 0 mark. And you can see 3.5 down here and 3.5 up here, right? 3.5. Basically, 3.5 and 3.5 square will make this 2.5-inch block. Okay, this is raw edges, unfinished. So it finished in a project, this will be a 2-inch block. Okay, so get your two pieces of fabric, draw your line on one of them, pretty sides together, or right sides together, and make sure you match them up perfectly, perfect edges all around, and then take it to your machine. Now you are going to sew 1/4 inch from each side, on each side of this line. So 1/4 inch on this side is, where'd my pencil go? 1/4 inch on this side is right here, and 1/4 inch on this side is right here. So you're going to you're going to sew a line all the way down and a line all the way down. Okay? So you're going to sew right on those lines. All right, here's my leader. I can use it if I want. I'm not going to use it though. I'm just going to line up, and you can't really see that in this video, but I'm lining up my 1/4 inch mark on from my presser foot on the fabric, and then I'm just going to start. So that's straight down, and then stop. And I'm going to swing this around. I'm not even cutting my thread. I'm leaving my thread right in there, just swinging around, lining up my presser foot mark on that drawn line again, and then sewing another straight 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/4 inch line. That's going to become our seam allowance, and then I cut this one. Now, I'm going to show you. I did pretty good there. I did pretty good. Measuring, this one got a little bit wonky, but that's okay. This one's dead on. So now you're going to cut right on that drawn line. So you can use a rotary cutter if you want, or you can use your scissors. I'm just going to use my scissors, and now open it up. Now you have your same block. It's just a 1/2 inch smaller because you used up a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now this should be a 1/2 inch smaller. If you want to, go measure it. But what I'm going to do now is you can finger press this open if you want. Now keep in mind, these are on the bias. You can finger press that, or you can take it over to your iron and iron it. Now what I'm going to do is make sure that I iron my seam allowance to the dark side. I'm just going to do that on both of them. Okay, so I'm going to take it over. Can you guys see this? Take it over to my ironing surface right here. And then I just have a hot dry iron, set my seam, and then the seam goes to the dark side. Okay? Just like so. All right. Same thing on here, set the seam, and just let the iron do the work. You don't have to swirl it all around. Okay, now what you're gonna do, now that these are nice and flat, you don't have to, but for me, it makes it easier to work with flat fabric. You're going to take these two pieces and you're gonna lay them on top of each other, just like this. So right sides together, but opposites. So you're going to put your background on your feature fabric and then your feature fabric on the background, just like so. And you're going to line up these seams, and it's locking the seams in. So you're going to lock these seams together. So when you look at it like so, you can see when you open it up, the seams are right nested right together. Same thing with this side, should be. When you open this up, the seams are locked, nested right together. Yep, that's how you want it. Now, make sure it doesn't shift. You can pop in a pin if you like. You can put it on the diagonal sides, if that makes sense. So like this. Where you have your little dog ears out here, you can put your pins right there. Now what you're going to do is draw a line, again, just like we did in the beginning, from corner to corner. Okay, so take a flat edge. It's harder with a pin in, so you might have to take that out. And also there's a lot of bulk right here, so you just want to be careful your ruler doesn't shift on you. But you're just going to draw that same line, that same straight line from corner to corner. Okay, and now you're going to draw, or I'm sorry, you already drew the line. You're going to sew another 1/4 inch on either side. So, take it back over to the machine, and it's the same technique. Sew your 1/4 inch on both sides. Stop the machine, spin it around. You don't need to cut your thread. So from off of the square to on the square to all the way off again. And then there you go. You can remove your pins. And again, same thing as before. You want to cut down the center line. Just cut right on that line. And here's the moment of truth. When you open up, you should have a perfect corner right there. And that is how you make your perfect points right there. And that is how you make an hourglass. That's how you make an hourglass right there. Now, I am going to iron real quick, because I want to trim. Now, this should be pretty close to 2.5 inches. However, you should have excess fabric on the outsides of this so that you can trim it up. And I do. If you can see that up close, you can see I have excess fabric on all the way around there, so I can trim this up. Now, one tip, and I know I have blue tape on here, but if you can kind of see where your top seam is, after you press your fabric, you're going to have like the seam going across. One of the seams going across is going to kind of be like behind the other seam. So feel your fabric. Hopefully when you feel your fabric, that makes sense, but the seam that's on the top. So I don't know if I can show it to you this way maybe. So you see how this fabric is popped up a little bit more than this fabric? Yeah, you can see that, especially if I create if I create a shadow there. So I want to follow this seam line. this one, okay, with my 45-degree angle. And once I line that up on my 45-degree angle, you know what? I'm going to show you one without the blue tape on. I think that's a little bit easier. So when I line that up on my 45-degree angle, I want to make sure that these corners are also lined up. Okay? Now, it's easier to do when you have like a little one because you can see where the points are specifically. And those points should line up on the seam also. Right there. You see how that point is lined up right at that seam? That's how you know you're going to have a perfect square. And that's how you know you're going to get perfect points in all of your hourglasses throughout your project. Okay? So that is how you get a 2.5 inch. So I'm not going to trim it, but I just showed you how to trim that up, right? So that you get this perfect 2.5 inch unfinished hourglass. You could go this way or this way in your project. You start with a 3.5 inch block, and then you're going to get 2. You actually get 2 from that block. Okay? So you get 2 hourglasses. You get 2 2.5 inch blocks or units, hourglass units. Aw, look at these guys. Look how cute. So you start with a 3.5 inch block, and then you have just enough fabric once you've made the hourglass to trim it up perfectly. And you're gonna never fail. You should never fail with that system. All right. So you get 2 2.5 inch blocks from a 3.5 from starting with 3.5 inch. Okay. So you take this and you get this. Magic. All right, have fun with that. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.